Some of the best Bionicle builders out there. Well, they recently dropped a collab that features revamps of every single G2 Uniter TOA and their respective creatures. The collab also features our boy Akimu and Makuta. In this video, let's talk about every single mock and showcase the great designs, the clever techniques, and how each character can unite together with their creature into one ultimate form. There are some really good LEGO creations coming. Get ready to be blown away. Let's start off with my personal favorite of the bunch. This is Taho Uniter, and this was expertly crafted by the incredible Loaf Builds. Dude, look at this. Here's Taho side by side with his original Uniter set. What an upgrade. Loaf Builds, or Ari as he's actually known, Ari has a very unique building style that really hones in on the robotic look of Bionicle characters. Your Ari often uses pieces like these black whip elements, and he likes to scatter them all across his mocks. Doing this, it makes it look like wires are linking together each section. I've always loved how that looks. There's something about it that's so in the aesthetic of Bionicle. It just feels right. We've also got this very industrial looking yellow and grey piston on the torso, and a few engine-like greebles that are at the centre of the chest. We even got a few different stickers down here on the upper legs. Really, it's all of these little details, these little things. It's what makes this mock look so sensational. Ari's just got this wonderful eye for detail. Even just the choice to buff out Taho's face, make it that little bit thicker. That's being done with the use of a few different small Technic panel pieces. Doing this makes the mask look that little bit bigger, and that way it better fits in with the larger body design. Genius. Ari has also revamped Ika, the creature of fire, and yeah, this one also has a little bit more of a robotic look. It's a look that's fairly different from the original version, but with Ari's own unique twist that he's applying to these characters, it works supremely well. I love all of these lightning pieces that are just coursing through the body and also powering up some of these leg engines. It's just the best. Especially because the original set did have some of these lightning pieces already on it. Of course, they were a different color and they looked a little bit more like fire than they did lightning. But look, keeping the exact same piece and just changing the color of it, that's clever. Oh, and you better believe the two of these combined together. This is just mind-blowing, isn't it? The unity of the two of them, it kind of has some Transformer vibes going on. It reminds me of Jetfire and Optimus Prime combining in the Bayverse movies. Also, good thinking to use the creature of fire's tail feathers like this. We can see they act as a bit of a stand. It helps Taho support some of the additional weight that's being added on with these wings and the whole rest of the creature of fire on his back. Yeah, it visually looks good, but it also has some really strong practical use as well. Genius. Max Howell is up next, and they have revamped Gully, Uniter of Water. I love the changes to the creature of water. Turning them into a kind of sea serpent with a body that's just made up of water? Very clever. And these magnificent photos where the creature is just swimming around Gully, it looks so magical. Ari, or Loaf Builds, he actually edited a bunch of these photos. He did a really good job. The unity of the two of them together is also quite clever. It's a shame to see the loss of some of the weaponry that the original set had, but I think it's such a fascinating idea to give Gully this interesting ponytail design. Maybe that could even be used as some kind of whip. That's sick. At the edge of her weapon, we can see this little yellow air tank. I guess that's to help other people breathe underwater, or it's just an emergency air supply if that's ever needed. I like that. Plus this nice pop of yellow, it's just a good little accent color. I also quite enjoy the energy of these orange Skrull armor pieces that we can see on the knees. The way that they flare up like that, it's just so dynamic. This revamp has taken all of the best qualities of the original set and turned them into something really, really special. One of the most radical upgrades of the TOA, this was built by Gourd Builds. Here we have Onoa, Uniter of Earth. Look at this new look, and check out these arms. Fire bursting out of the back like that, it's just spectacular. I like to think that the fire is maybe powering him up a little bit, like some sort of coal mine. You get these minerals and materials from the earth, and then you burn them, and doing so gives Onoa this raw strength and power. That's a unique concept, and something that fits a TOA of Earth very well. Yeah, this distinct and unique triangular shape of the arms. It really just grabs your attention, and the repetition of these invasion from below large spike pieces. We can see them all across this arm design. You know, the look of it reminds me of the surface or texture of rocks, or maybe some of the stalactites that hang from the roofs of caves. Good thinking to tie the visual look of a Toa of Earth into the look of real-world caves, rocks, and caverns. Terak, the creature of Earth, they've received a huge upgrade. They aren't just some little cute mole anymore. No, they look like some sort of mining equipment that's come to life. I like the repeated use of these Midak Skyblaster pieces. These are the same cannons that we saw on every single Fantoka hero. We can see 2 of them on the knees, and this has such a dynamic look to it. And then there's 4 more sticking out of the back, looking like some sort of exhaust port. When you couple these with some larger wing elements, it starts to look a little bit like a Gundam or something. But the combination of these 2 when they unite together, this just goes to show how big this creature of Earth really is. The way that Onoa and Terak link up, it's very reminiscent of the Exo Toa set, where you had the original Toa strapping inside a larger suit of armor. You know, that in itself is a really fun callback to past sets. But I also like the idea that the 2 of them would combine simply to start mining underground. It's less for like combat reasons, and more for his actual job. I said before how this looked like sentient mining equipment. Turns out it actually is. The next Uniter is Liwa Uniter, and this was built by Awesomeness Born. You know, I've never really noticed how the silver on top of Liwa Uniter's mask kinda looks like he's wearing a little helmet. It might just be the way this is photographed, or perhaps it's the fact that a lot of the other silver editions look like armor that has been put on. But hey, I like how that looks. I also love the choice to give Liwa larger claws on his hands. Combine that with these super spiky weapons, and you have something very unique. Something else that's quite unique is the choice to add in some brown whip pieces into different areas of the body. That's a subtle and really great way to tie Liwa's jungle elemental powers into his overall look. Metal robots with plants growing through them? That's sick. And dude, how good is the injection of Keat Orange into the color scheme? This yellowish orange color, it pairs so well with everything else. Oh, and great idea to also use these printed leg armor pieces that came on the Star Wars Ultra Build set for Boba Fett. These pieces naturally have a little bit of a yellowish color to them as a part of that printing, so it just matches in with the rest of the Keat Orange pieces here. How delightful. Now over to Uxar, the creature of jungle. Brilliant idea to get a bunch of these ring pieces in silver. These of course appear on a few different sets, mainly this Black Panther set. You can see Nakia is using them as her weapons. But yeah, spamming them all over the neck and the limbs, it creates the most beautiful looking texture. And actually, it looks like this really doesn't affect the posability of the neck. It's posable and it's pretty. Oh, I love to see it. We can also see a few of those brown vines scattered across this mock as well. Now, sadly, there's no images of these 2 combined. I believe they can do so, but the person who made these was in 2 separate locations when they built both versions. So from my understanding, the 2 mocks have never actually met each other, unfortunately. Ooh, and now it's time for Sadie. She has built Patu. Look at this exceptional leg design. Taking the Naira Ghost Blaster piece that came on every single Toa Mystica and converting that into a slimmed down piston leg. Genius. Then you couple that with some yellow bar pieces on either side. Magnificent. And the feet. See how they use these spike pieces that kind of dig into the ground at the very bottom. These are the same shoulder armor pieces that come on a set like Gully Mystica. Don't they make for the best looking foot you've ever seen? I like that this whole foot and leg area, it's very reminiscent of the silver add-on piece that we see on Patu Nuva. You know, this was added to the foot so that when he kicks someone, his kick attacks are even more enhanced. So making the whole foot, as well as the entire lower leg, into this armored up metallic design. Well, it makes me think that this version of Patu has to have some really powerful and strong kick attacks. Really nice thinking to take some inspiration from some of the other versions of Patu and distill it into this one. Speaking of older forms, the robotic arm here, it's clearly taking some notes from G2 Patu Masters. You can see he had an all-silver arm right here. And one last thing, including a brown Ruru and a brown Matatu mask. One's on the waist, one's on the lower arm. That's great thinking. What an awesome way to integrate some very rare Bionicle masks into something that isn't a face. Kita, the creature of stone, they look so cute. Sadie is an expert at making adorable mocks. The tiny little blade hands, the adorable infinity stone eyes, magical. And the rocky texture on their back that just erupts into this large cannon, fun. Now, why is there a big old cannon on their back? Well, when the two are united, Patu gains a giant shoulder-mounted turret. You know, this unity form, it's so fun. It's only a minor upgrade, they just gain a great new weapon. It's not as much like the original United form where they gain a helmet, some buffed up armor, and some additional weaponry. No, it's just a simple little combination, but it just works. Now over to a fan favorite, it's Kopaka Uniter. This was built by Ryan Z. This one appears to be taking some inspiration from Samus. Big blaster arm, bubble shoulder pads, and some really nice sleek armor. But you know what? It works. And I think it works best on Kopaka G2. I think if you tried this style and this look with Kopaka G1, it just wouldn't fit. Just the design language of that mask and CCBS armor in general, it complements this design well. Look at this burst of green that's on the blaster arm. That's unexpected, but I kind of love it. White, gold, and a splash of dark green. Who would have thought that would look so nice? This boot design is also pretty sick, taking the shin armor piece that comes on various Star Wars Ultra Build sets, and then turning it into a nice foot and leg combo. So sleek, so stylish. Mellum, the creature of ice, they got a pretty serious upgrade. I love how these blue Technic panels on the back, they vaguely resemble the look of ice, ice crystals, or icicles. But they also look like wings or maybe exhaust ports coming out of a giant animal creature. It's just an exceptional blend of multiple things. Additionally, look at these pops of color. Magenta eyes, gold claws. Extra hints of color like that look so frickin' good. And when the two come together, it starts to make Kopaka look like some kind of Gundam mech. Bro has jet boosters, wings, arm turrets, it's awesome. Now this Unity form, it looks fairly similar to the original one. Because, you know, the creature attaches onto the back, it provides him with some additional head protection, additional armor, and some new weaponry. It's nice to see this stick a little bit closer to the original. The final mocks in this video today, they're built by the incredible Tony A, and they've made Akimu and Makuta, the mask makers. Starting off with Akimu, the legendary mask maker himself, Tony describes this mock as being both the Forge Master and the Forge itself. So, you know, all these tubes and wires that are all over the body, and these little capsules that have kind of blue energy or some type of liquid inside them, that really does sell that idea of a living forge that you would use to make masks. Tony A also says that he wanted to follow the design philosophy that was very present in early G1 Bionicle, having very traditional biomechanical elements, but also still feeling very tribal. You know, things like the golden leaves around the waist, or some of the other gold decoration. I think that shows that off perfectly. And yeah, I'm sure you could tell, but this mock is taking a lot of inspiration from HR Giga. You know, if it's got that biomechanical aesthetic, of course it took a few ideas from him. So the original Akimu had his little pet falcon that came in a separate polybag. I love Tony's more sinister approach to building them. This one looks a bit more like a scary looking gremlin, but you know, these pops of red on the eyes, the combination of a Rocker 3.0 mask, and the Uniter face piece, it's a winning combination. And check out this sick hammer as well, using these black curved macaroni pieces to give the handle this very funky design. It's brilliant. And all these crazy looking gold ornate details on the head of the hammer. Wow. Yeah, this mock is a masterclass in very alternative designs. It's also a masterclass in strange concepts, alien looking textures. Props to Tony for trying something incredibly radically different. This is a massive departure from the original Akimu, but dude, it works so well. Tony has also built Makuta, and Tony stated that he wanted Makuta to be more smooth, regal, and orderly. This way it would contrast with Akimu's very industrial, messy, and tribal look. That's some good thinking. Tony introduced this white ruff around the neck of Makuta. This interesting classic Victorian design, it partners very nicely with some of the demon qualities that are also present here. You know, you see these things in Victorian paintings all the time. There's nothing that's all that evil about them, But within the right context, suddenly it gives off the perfect bad guy vibes. The posing on this mock is also brilliant. The slight lean forward that they have, the hunch on their back, it works for two reasons. It contrasts with Akimu, who is standing a lot more tall and proud, but Makuta, he's hunched over as if he's hiding in the shadows, keeping to himself and plotting evil things. The body language communicates so much about who this character is. Also, the bent over look, it makes this hammer look like it's really heavy, and they really need to hold onto it and pull it up, given its weight. This posture adds an interesting sense of gravity, realism, and weight. You don't really see that every day, but it does so much. Great thinking. And one final detail, this excellent mask. It's simply taking Makuta G2's original mask and flipping it upside down. And look how good that looks. Who would have thought? And that's it for this video. That's a revamp of every single G2 Uniter Beast and Toa, as well as Akimu and Makuta. I hope you enjoyed this incredible collab. Check the links in the description below if you want to see more from these builders. And stay tuned, because the builders who made these, they sent me behind the scenes photos showcasing how these mocks were made. So maybe I'll have to do individual videos on each Toa and go really in depth into how they were built. Thanks for watching guys, happy building, and bye for now.